Hello.
Ye old strim.
The old strim. I didn't even warn you it was starting, but it's here now. Hi.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Hello, Christy. Hello, Kiro. How are we doing? Hope we're doing well. It's Strim Tim. Yeah. Welcome. I should probably swap over to the doodle thing. There-ish, roughly. This is very quick. The monster cat for reasons. I forgot to draw a cat, so this is very quick. We have cute little box cat as well, which is fun. We are joined by a Ragdoll and a Lewis. Ah!
Hello, hello.
And we're gonna do wikis. You doing all right? Hope you're doing well too. Yeah. I'm all right. How's everyone else?
I hope your internet behaves soon.
Fingers crossed.
Because that's always a pain.
Layer 3.
Oh wait, no. I just thought of a better pun. Layer 3 has entered the game.
Ha ha ha!
Let's just remove all evidence of that.
Yeah, so we're gonna do wiki times. I have, in light of recent other streams, the Bloodborne wiki. Hence a cat with antlers and big claws. What wikis?
And a top hat.
And the top hat, very important. Hunter top hat.
I needed to contribute with something at least.
You contribute with your presence.
So I have the Moonlighter wiki, and Moonlighter is an indie dungeon crawler game where basically you're going into these mysterious interdimensional dungeons, collecting items, and then selling them to the locals at market value price. So it's one part dungeon crawler, one part shop management, one part what the heck is going on here. But it's got some interesting. It's on NPCs, but it's got some interesting monsters in the dungeon. So figured we can goopy friends.
Yee.
I've pulled up the list of species from the Halo game series, so we can get to draw some Ablians.
Ablians? Well, I feel like there's crossover here. Like Bloodborne has Ablians and Moonlight, so it works. Yeah.
PlayStation though, so it'll never happen. Sometimes.
Yeah, I was looking up things on how to do the broccoli better. And almost all of the guides are like, well, you just go into this chalice dungeon, type in this code, and do the online dungeon. And I'm like, I don't have online. PlayStation.
Other people.
It's PlayStation. They charge for that. I'm not. It's not pay to win. What are you talking about?
Pay to broccoli.
Yeah, you got to be good broccoli. A lot of the guides do essentially boil down to, hey, you can be good at the broccoli. All you have to do is upgrade all of this stuff. By the way, if you're going to do that, all this other stuff is better than broccoli. So great. Wonderful. Yeah. Slightly amused that you were baffled last year about American internet, and now yeah. These things happen, swings and roundabouts. Hopefully, you forgot chalice dungeons are a thing. I've been doing them. I like the fixed ones because I do those, and then all of the other ones are bad.
So a chalice dungeon, is that like a hardcore dungeon?
It's a sort of randomly generated side game, essentially. But you can get good materials from it and fight new bosses and stuff. There's a lot of, I'm going to say, effectively cut content that they've stored away in there. It was like, this wasn't good enough to be in the main game. Put it in a dungeon. Yeah, but they're fun. You also get like the whole Yarnum thing. Anyway, enough of that. Let's wiki. That sounds like a Saturday morning cartoon. Yeah, who wants to go?
Wah, wah.
Wiki wow wow, wiki wow 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 wild wild west. Said with the least enthusiasm ever. Who wants to go first? Drawing and generating.
I'll draw a Bloodborne thing because I know literally nothing about that game.
Wonderful, lovely. Do you want? I can specify whether you want a character or an enemy.
Ooh, I'll go for I'll go for an enemy first, and then I'll randomize it afterwards. I think.
Cool. What have you got?
Can I get a hint as to what kind of color scheme I'm going to be using here?
Grey.
Well, it's Bloodborne, so probably gray.
Grey and red.
Okay, I've got a dark grey and a lighter grey queued up here.
Fair enough. I'll get there eventually. Trust me. Ooh. Oh, okay. And speaking of cut content, you have the Slug Princess. Apparently. Yeah, the Slug.
It's the same grey.
It's an optical illusion.
Oh my god. Slug Princess.
The
Okay.
Slug Princess. Grey was a good choice by the looks of it. The Slug Princess is a half human, half slug character that resembles a snail woman, which is another enemy.
A slug princess, but a snail woman. This is highly conflicting.
Yeah.
What a nice slug underside there.
Well, the snail women, I guess, have shells. Slug Princess does not. That's the only
Maybe
difference.
she was a snail as a youth, but then came out of her shell as she.
Did I invent this one? No,
Sorry,
it's
that's
cut.
fine.
It's cut content, so it's not in the actual game, but it's on the wiki.
And then
She wears a blindfold.
Oh.
It is unknown.
Oh,
Oh, it's unknown whether the Slug Princess is an NPC or an enemy. There we are. So you got both, I guess. And one of my favorite things about this page.
I remember that I can't draw.
I mean, considering how Bloodborne enemies are, you could probably just put some squiggly lines and pus in places, and it would look mostly right.
Oh boy, we're gonna go for a nice sluggy underside.
Yeah.
And I'll just obviously color in some slugs there. Oh dear, it's gone too big already. And then we'll go. I was thinking a nice kind of regal royal red jacket. I just need to remember that elbows exist.
She does appear to have elbows.
Since we've got the nice royal jacket and okay, they do have elbows. I'm 1 for 1 already on character traits. This is a good start so far.
I might be giving too much away.
Oh,
She does have elbows. I will give you a slight hint, in as much as I was looking at a picture of her, and after a while I thought, oh, that's not a dress. That's my clue.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll do a neck that's already too long.
That's fitting.
I mean, it's a slug.
Yeah, that's kind of Bloodborne-y. A lot of
Yeah.
people have long necks in Bloodborne for some reason.
We've got a nice head shape going on there. No, good grief.
Yeah, she does appear to be entirely
Massive
grey.
fringe, because why not?
Looks like a monk at the moment.
They could be. You don't know their life.
It could be. There are things in the game with that haircut. Haircut. Probably also headcut.
I just need an absolute piss yellow here. Is how I describe it. For a wonderful, amazing crown.
She's a princess.
Is there a fill tool in this?
There is, yeah. You can press G to get it. But
There is, but since you've got colors in there,
yeah,
it'll only fill in on the color that you click on.
Right. Well, I'll give it a go. Maybe I'll just filled it in anyway. So we've
Yeah,
got
the bucket fill tool is right underneath the eraser, which has led to some confusion on my part because they're more or less the same overall shape, angled in the same direction. And my brain just goes, oh, that's the right shape, clicks on it, thinking I get the eraser, and then suddenly the entire screen is red.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, transitions are hard, so she's getting a nice belt.
Neat.
With the old kind of Thanksgiving belt buckle.
The one thing I have noticed about this
I
wiki
am-
page is it has sections, and those sections are titled Description, Gallery, Categories, and Triver.
Gotta look out for those
Trevor?
trivers.
Triver.
Well, obviously they're an enemy in the game, so I feel like they're in need of some kind of weapon. So, in terms of weaponry, I feel like it's got to be a warrior princess. So we're gonna let me see if I can get my brown.
Oh yeah, go in the Slug Xena route. You love Triver. I love Lamp.
We're well known for Triver. I think he was in the GTA series, wasn't he?
I wouldn't know. The only Grand Theft Autos I played were 1 and London.
So I've done the angle completely wrong. So it's not a sword, actually. It's going to be a scepter. We're going to get a nice scepter of power going because I get angles wrong.
I mean,
That, or it's a dumbbell. You caught her working out, and now she's going to whack you over the head.
Buff Princess.
That's the real reason why they attack. Sort of, it's kind of you come in and they're working out and feel embarrassed.
I like how one of the Triver here says this enemy only exists in the game files, which I'm pretty sure is true of all things in the game.
All things do in fact exist in the game file.
Everything in the game only
mean-
exists in the game files.
That's the wrong.
Now there are some games where it's just kind of like, yes, the things that you see in the game are things that, if I saw it in real life and be like, oh yeah, that's a cat.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything in Bloodborne where if I saw it in real life, I would immediately start freaking out. Like, even the human characters in that game are very unsettling to look at.
I was thinking, like, even the trees, they're quite creepy looking. You'd look at that, like, that tree could exist in real life, but you would look at it and go, oh, that's a creepy tree.
And then obviously we have the rays of slug power coming out.
Aha. The slugs have phantasm power, I guess.
Obviously. It's as if you've never seen slugs before.
Didn't see slugs.
Because... Now, you may think that this is just this fill tool messing up and missing out lines, but it's actually just all the slimy bits. Just
See, deep lore.
What I lack in artistic skills, I make up for in bullshitting.
Oh, this is just tangential, but I think it's funny. There's a boss in Dark Souls called Pinwheel, and they have like they're sort of like a big robed creature with 6 arms and like 3 masks on the front, which all sort of move independently. And so the implication is that it's sort of like an amalgamation of 3 people. But I watched a thing about translations in the Dark Souls series, and apparently their Japanese name isn't Pinwheel, it's basically 3 people in a trench coat. That is what they're called in Japanese. Just 3 people in a trench coat. Like, it's not a trench coat, it's like a gown or something, but it's like, that is just the name.
Now, we're going to have to make the jacket a bit more flowy here, because it doesn't feel regal enough, you know?
I mean, at least the name is descriptive.
Yeah.
And maybe she's got like layers on, like a shirt with a belt on, and then a nice jacket.
Yeah, ogres have layers, you know.
Slugs have layers.
Slugs have layers. What's the best? Can we get some like? What's the best way to draw frills? I'm wondering. Just some.
Lots of
dress
scribbles.
shirts. Yeah, dress shirts have that kind of infamous little bit of frill to them just to make them look fancy.
Oh yeah, I tend to do like vertical squiggles. I drew that only the other day. Cartoony frill
Unfortunately,
shirt.
drawing them with a mouse and my level of dexterity, little.
I will never complain. There are several things I will not complain about when it comes to technology, and that is how well somebody draws with a mouse and how well somebody types on a touchscreen.
And then we'll try and get buttons coming down here. I don't know if that can be seen with the size of the bloody thing, but
I can zoom.
wait, I got them bigger. There we go.
Look at those
Obviously,
boutons.
all slug princesses need a face, so wish me luck.
I've zoomed on the face
I mean,
in anticipation.
considering it's
Oh.
Bloodborne, though,
Yeah,
you,
maybe
you
not.
could put the face down on the slug part, and that would be perfectly viable.
Yeah,
I see. Okay,
you could just not have a face. You could have multiple faces. These are all
that's
plausible.
the wrong. Okay,
There are many ways you could go in
Panic.
Bloodborne.
panic and distress.
Panic!
There we go.
Are there things in Bloodborne with multiple faces? There are things in Bloodborne with no faces, I know that.
Oh, dear.
The horse?
Oh yeah, good point. Ludwig.
Right, we're gonna have to.
So
I mean,
much
that's
screaming.
just the one that immediately comes to
Oh,
mind.
no.
Because we've had to deal with that horse recently.
And of course, it's Bloodborne, so we've got to just add the key touch.
Do you know
There
what?
we go.
Like, Slug Princess or no Slug Princess, this is a pretty good Aldrich from Dark Souls 3.
So as we can see here, oh sorry, I need to. I've made a key error here. There's no way that the player could possibly know that they're a lady unless I do this. There we go. So now, obviously, you can tell they're feminine characters. Now, put a little. Isn't this how you do eyes?
Yep, little shines.
Little bit of shine to it. How do I send to the camera? I keep zooming in and out away from it.
I hold space and then that turns into a hand tool so you can wobble things around.
Oh, you're a wizard.
Also, yeah, given that, I compared this to Aldrich, the gender ambiguity, that works with that as well. Because Aldrich
So as we
is...
can see here, an obvious princess slug. What was the princess name?
It was Slug Princess.
Slug Princess here in the regal attire with a nice belt.
Considering it's a slug, though, and considering that slugs, for the most part, are hermaphroditic in the actual meaning of the word, I'm sure the princess bit is just they decided that that's their title now.
Yeah. It's
right. Well, as we can see, they have their scepter of power that Slug Princess is well known for. And then their seductive allure on top.
Yeah, it's
Everyone
kind of...
knows, the blank expressionless face is what the men really love. All the ladies really love. All the faceless abominations love.
Yeah, that's fun.
Princess Slug.
Princess Slug.
What more needs to be said, really?
Not a lot. You've definitely...
Slug's gonna slug.
Slug's gonna slug, indeed.
And then we'll put a little trail in there.
Yeah. It's kind of an anglerfish vibe going for it. And this sort of like lure on top.
It's a hell of a lure.
It's sophisticated. Yeah.
So this is obviously Princess Slug.
Well, I would argue you've over-designed.
It's not a slug at all.
This is the Slug Princess.
Not a dress.
That's not a dress, is it?
Oh.
I
get what's going on.
Yo entiendo.
Yeah, it's just got like vestigial legs stuck onto the slug body or something.
Right. Well, honestly, I think my face is more of a seductive lure than that one.
Yeah. No, you've definitely gone more the seductive route. I don't think that's necessarily
What can
what's
I say?
happening here.
I just see monsters in video games and think, what if they were sexy?
You're not alone on the internet in thinking that. I don't know what's going on precisely with like the bottom half. like how the knees work. If indeed they do. She is laying down. Um, but they also appear to be shackled, so I don't think they've had a good time. But then again, no one in Bloodborne has a good time. It's not a good time.
Not really, no.
But there we go. Right. Well, Lewis, would you like to generate a halo for Ragdoll?
Right.
And singular halo.
Okay, number 3, which is Oh, okay, this one should be interesting. These are called the Lek Golo. I'll put the name in chat, so I don't know what use that'll be, but so this is a species of small colonial worm-like creatures that can join together to form purpose shapes.
Oh, so they're like the little minnows that swim into schools and then suddenly it makes the big fish out of the little fish,
Yes.
except worms. Fun.
Except they try and turn into essentially a rather large armored soldier with a gun.
It is Halo, so
You gotta have a gun.
Yeah.
More gun.
And the gun doesn't necessarily have to make sense. All right, cool. Let's go with this then.
I was going to say
So,
right
Lewis,
up until
you
the
turn
gun
off
bit.
the layer
Oh yes, I need to
turn off. Yeah, the little eyeball. If you click on it, will make it invisible. Yep. Just...
Click on the inside.
Well, I
symbol.
mean, the good news. Now, I didn't really grow up with an Xbox, but I did have some buddies who did have Xbox and play Xboxes. So I know that for the alien races, that the gun can just sort of be anything. So that makes
Would you like to know what the gun is? Would you like to know the words that are named? It's a fuel rod cannon.
Ooh.
Fuel rod cannon. Fun. Well, I mean, I just know that one of the weapons is literally just like a...
They've got some...
Yeah, they're also referred to by humans as hunters, if that helps.
Oh, okay. Really?
Yes, and they come in their own little suits of armor.
I know, okay. I just didn't know what was in the suits of armor. Turns out.
Apparently, the answer is lots of little worms. Right.
Okay. I haven't looked at the drawing yet.
So we have mecha worm. We have mecha worm.
Mecha worm.
All right.
Essentially, yes.
See, now I want to draw like, you know, the that dog in Undertale in the massive suit of armor. I want to draw that, but a worm. Just a single worm poking out from a massive suit of armor.
Oh, here we go. Here's a good picture to pull for later.
God, what was the name of that one? Earthworm Jim? I think.
Yes, Earthworm Jim.
Yeah, so it's Earthworm Jim. It's Earthworm Jim, but more Jims. Who knows? Maybe some of them are named Jim.
Statistically, several. I'm just looking at the name of the thing, Lek Golo, and it's whenever I come across something like that, my brain automatically goes into anagram mode. But all I can get out of it is "look leg," and that's I don't think that's particularly informative. Look, leg, or gel maybe. Do they appear gelatinous? Because they could have the gel look. That might be it.
So they do have like a kind of distinct shape to them, which is like leg head, and they have little bits of armor on them to help
leg head
shoot the wormy bits.
Maybe we're not thinking of the right thing.
Fuck it. It's a bunch of worms in a mech suit. Who says it has to have like legs?
Oh yeah, you do what you want.
Right, I'll go for it. I mean, you saw Slug Princess.
Yeah. We're going with the slimy theme today, it must be said. Hopefully there's some... I mean, you got slimes in your dungeon, I imagine. So...
I imagine if you leave a dungeon for long enough, there's always slimes in there.
Naturally. Every game has slimes.
In fact, one of the core features of any of the dungeons is you get sort of absorbed by this slimy portal to get into.
Slime portal.
Yes.
Slortle.
A slimy portal.
Slaughter.
And you get this you get this goo portal that opens up and you get sucked into it and you're in the dungeon.
It's the lesser known sequel
And then
to
when you
Splatoon.
leave, another goo portal opens up and you get yeeted out of the dungeon.
Goo!
You.
It's a very gooey dungeon. And you
Goo
can
out of
take
10.
some of the so one of the things that I find amusing and adorable is one of the things you can find as you're wandering around in the dungeon are monster eggs. So you can just take the monster eggs home and just hatch a little monster, and then you've got the little monster following you around in the dungeon,
No.
shooting things.
Tiny little friend.
Why
Yes.
why can't you do that in Bloodborne? Why can't you have just a little slug monster werewolf friend?
Because then you'd be having fun. There's no fun allowed in Bloodborne.
No fun. I know that. I've been trying to beat the bloody Loran Silverbeast.
I know that. I've been broccoli for the past week.
Yeah, broccoli turns out not a fun time. Should have gone with the beast claws. Should have gone werewolf, not broccoli. Turns out werewolf stronger than broccoli. Who'd have thought?
Ah, but you see, broccoli will grow back later.
And weaker than ever before.
It's similar to the argument of who wins, the entire United States Armed Forces or a stick. Because they break the stick, but then you see, you've just got two smaller sticks.
I feel like the United States Armed Forces could probably atomize the stick. Could turn it into
With a
plasma.
defense budget of that much, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Look at the little wormy man go. Going to kill and wipe out all of humanity. Go team!
Go Team Abelium.
Worms.
Do you know what? It's been so long since I've thought about Halo. I did play Halo 1 and 2 when I was younger. And I'm getting just random memories like giant crab machines that you can go in. Are they crab machines? They might be aliens. I'm not even sure.
You might actually be mistaking them for the hunter right now.
Am I?
They do have. Sometimes they can like hunch over a little bit, and they go like me.
No, I mean like giant, huge.
Oh, giant! Oh, you
Towering over
are thinking
buildings.
of the scarab, and guess what? That's powered by the exact same alien.
Is it? Oh.
It's not got an engine. It's not got like a power source. It's just controlled by lots of tiny little worms.
Oh. Nice.
Just imagine trying to call an exterminator,
Yeah.
and the exterminator comes in to get rid of the worm problem, and the worm just comes up in a giant mecha. And it's like, no, the worms just own that. The worms own that shed now. They've created their own technology.
Yeah, you call the exterminator, and the next day that walks out of your garden.
Yeah, like that thing. That's significant.
Yeah, that's powered by worms.
Powered by worms. Hashtag powered by worms.
I think it comes right after geothermal and solar.
Source of renewable energy. There's always more worms.
What does it? You're always 10 feet away from the rat, so you must be closer to a worm at some point, right?
Yeah. Especially if the worm could theoretically just be the building. Who knows? Maybe the building you're in now is just worms.
Oh no, it's an even more terrifying version of everything is cake.
Everything is worms, including cake.
I mean, if you leave the cake out long enough, it'll probably be worm.
Oh, if you leave the cake out long enough, it'll turn to rock.
Rockworms, got it. Cake turns into shuckle. I understand. Yeah, I'm just getting random flashes of things from Halo now. It's been so long since I've thought about it.
I'm just firing off the old synapses for you.
Yeah, it's nice. Because it's one of those games that I sort of played but never really paid any attention to. It was just a thing you did. You know, you just go through the motions. Oh, this is nice. I like how you can see the world curve up.
Yes, they if the company Bungie does one thing very well, it's skyboxes.
Yeah.
It was it was the first game on Xbox I ever played.
Mm.
I went from Lego Star Wars on the Wii to I think a friend invited me around to his house, and I was like, "What is this?" He was like, "It's Halo." I was like, "Wow, crazy!"
This isn't Lego.
Oh, good gosh, this isn't Lego. Ah,
Is there a Lego Halo? Probably.
there's Mega Bloks Halo.
Wonderful.
There was, in fact, a cancelled Mega Bloks Halo game.
Right.
Now, the one thing I give Halo, just from someone who hasn't really played it all that much, the music that came from those games.
I was thinking about this recently because I sort of follow a lot of composers for things, and they always say, you know, don't always try the most obvious solution for a piece of music. If you're given a fantasy score, don't always just immediately jump for an orchestra or whatever. And just it had never occurred to me, despite how many times I heard the Halo soundtrack, how weird it is to be given a sci-fi game and go, right, Gregorian choir.
Gregorian choir. There we go.
That's just some genius.
It was my ringtone for a while. Every so often, if someone called me, my phone would just go. Oh. I was like, "Oh, sorry." Sorry,
Yeah,
Gregorian choir.
There are two things you could take away from that. One of which is you're a Halo fan, or if you don't know anything about Halo, that you're just, you know, secretly a monk.
just a big fan of Gregorians.
Yeah. You love the calendar. You get it every year. You played Halo once with your brother. It was the remake.
I remember. I just see Kira in the chat. I played the remake, and I didn't realize that I'd hit the old graphics.
Yes. Yeah.
No, but see, that's another interesting thing with the remake. So some games that are like a remake of an older game, you can have like, oh, do the graphics settings of like the old game and then the new game, and you like choose the thing you've got. As far as I can tell, if you are playing the remake Halo game, at least on PC, there's two games running simultaneously.
Oh, really?
It's so cheap to run
there's
the old
game with the new graphics and sound, because when they redid the graphics, they didn't just redo the graphics, they also redid all of the sound design. So
okay, interesting.
you can just toggle back and forth and you can hear the difference between them. It's just kind of like, damn.
That's interesting. See, I had that thing that always seems to happen whenever somebody remakes a game from my childhood, which is I look at it and go, oh, it looks nice. They made it a bit nicer, but it generally looks the same. And then you look at a picture of the old one and you're like, oh my god, this looks so bad. you just think, because in your head you've sort of romanticized this imagery of this old game, and it's just it looks, oh, of course it's detailed and beautiful, and then you actually look at a picture of it, it's like, oh god, that's what it looked like.
I'm gonna need to pull up a Halo 1 picture of the hunters as well, just for fun.
Ooh. It has at least 6 polygons, but at most 9.
Covering this gentleman in worms, sticking their heads out of the armor.
I do enjoy the stick.
The good stick.
Well, I figure it's like a laser spear or something in this case, because they've got, like I said, they've got some weapons in there where you look at them and you just kind of go, if it wasn't for the fact that the game was programmed for my character to be able to know how to effectively use this. I would have no idea which direction I would even point this.
Yeah, a lot of them.
One of these ends fires out a torrent of death. I don't know which one. Good luck.
Yeah, that could go very wrong very quickly.
As long as both ends are pointing.
Yeah,
there's an alternate universe where Master Chief
one
picks up a gun
weapon-
and kills himself immediately by pointing it the wrong way.
Oh, sorry. Carry on, Ragdoll.
There's one weapon I remember where it looks like it's just kind of like you attach it, and it's like a fisticuff thing. Like your hand is here, here's your fingers and whatnot. But it's just got like the bullets are on the outside, and it just sort of like shoots them out that way.
Yes.
Yes, Needler.
The
homing
It's
thing.
called the
isn't it?
Needler, yeah. I recently saw a video where a firearms expert from the Royal Armoury in Leeds got shown video of a Needler. He was like, I can't for the life of me figure out how that works.
It's because it's alien.
Yeah, that is basically the Needler. You've drawn the Needler really well.
If you just showed me a picture of that and said Halo, I'd be like, yep, Needler. I know that one.
You know, you were mentioning a gun that shoots Master Chief in the face. So someone's released a mod for Halo called Cursed Halo,
Okay.
where they've reworked all the weapons to just be quite silly.
Oh, good.
And the Magnum pistol is modeled so that the barrel is pointing at you, and every time you pull the trigger, you shoot yourself in the face. The way you use the weapon is you hit the reload, and Master Chief throws the pistol, and if it hits an enemy, it kills them.
Oh, I love it. That's very silly.
Yeah, one use gun.
So when done with
That's
gun,
pretty good.
you just throw it. Right, shall I? More worms.
More worms. Always more
Yeah,
worms.
go ahead.
We're gonna be here for
I'm just
hours.
putting more worms in places where
Okay.
worms have no business being.
Let me pull up the old and the new.
Is that the name of the VOD now? Places where worms have no business being.
That is the wrong chat. I have just sent pictures of hunters to completely the wrong place.
Whoops.
I
mean,
again.
Of all the pictures to accidentally send someone, I think you're probably good.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I sent it to some friends who know what Halo is, so they'll just have randomly been sent 2 pictures.
It's fine. Frame Man, you're not made of worms, are you? Go away. My internet is exploding.
Yes.
There we go.
Yeah, they're worms.
Big, chunky, spiky boys. Just full of worms.
Yes, so if you look at the slightly newer one at the back, you can kind of see it's made up of strands, and those are the wormy boys.
Okay. Yeah, look at those polygons.
All 12 of them.
Love me some polygons.
And then they have spikes for reasons, because spikes look cool.
Yeah, it's Xbox design. Add spikes. Make it shiny.
Yes. Give it spikes, make it look cool. That is the Legolo in their little armor, looking cool.
I remember these
The
things being
I must
really
say,
hard.
The gun is surprisingly accurate with the like cylinders sticking out.
Yeah.
Oh, and the one on they've got the shield on the one side and the big arm cannon.
Angry.
I think someone doesn't know what worms are. The space worms. No.
Worms in space.
Oh wow, my Frame Man is just gorging.
No, but that is sort of interesting though. With you can see with the back of the newer design. That's a lot of worm exposed right there in the back.
Yes.
Probably why they have the big spikes there to sort of deter you from hitting them in the backside.
Maybe they just had too many worms and they were like, where can we put these? Just shove them in a tube and put them on the back.
Make them feel like they're contributing.
They're just there for moral support.
Okay, Frame Man is resting. Refresh! Refresh the stream!
Frame Man was scared away by the worms.
Oh dear, right. Yeah, we just basically had no stream for like a minute. We dropped 3,000 frames.
It got eaten by the worms.
Yeah, a feast for worms.
The worms on the back got tired and decided to steal the internet.
Right. Well, I guess I'm gonna draw a Moonlight Great Worm. I keep making Bloodborne references. No one knows Bloodborne.
Fortunately not, sorry. That is
That's
what we
alright.
call a 7-foot-high reference. That just goes straight over.
Okay.
What am I drawn?
So I am going to warn you before. The artwork for Moonlighter is pixely and sort of small, so the images I put in Discord eventually won't be particularly large,
Okay,
but hopefully you'll get the idea across.
This is my picture then.
I see, yeah, a little dot. Okay, so we have the Tech Soldier.
Okay, sounds Halo-y.
So the Tech Soldier is a hovering metal behemoth with an electric aura and detachable hand. So some of the enemies in the dungeons float. So this is essentially a giant robot with electric aura
More
and
mechas.
hand that goes zoom around.
Okay. Any other characteristics I should know about apart from detachable hands?
No limbs.
No, okay, Rayman, got it.
Yeah, so like Rayman logic going on here. And the different dungeons have sort of a theme to them. So you've got one dungeon that's water themed, one that is jungle themed, one that is lava themed, one that is tech themed, and all the stuff in the tech dungeon is like electric sparks all over the place, very neon blue, very sparky.
Sorry, I keep hitting
So
enter and it brings up the chat. I probably don't even need to do any construction for this. I'll just go straight ahead with lines because it's a robot.
Well, all drawings start off with one line, so
Some of them finish with it.
I mean, the good news is, since it's a robot, you don't really have to worry about things like anatomy, because you could just sort of put them together however.
You don't need to worry about worms.
Yes.
Well, that's where you're wrong. Guess what this is fueled by?
Worms!
Yeah.
Whoa. Are we angling the screen at a jaunty angle?
It's very big. Oh, hey. Cool radish.
Yeah, basically this monster floats around, launches its detachable hand at you, and then basically shocks everything around it with its electrical aura.
Can you imagine if Rayman just Rayman just throws his own hand at you?
And then electrocutes you as the hand goes
dear.
flying by.
Sorry, just imagine
That would be terrifying.
when you say throws his own hand, I'd imagine it just sort of like limply slapping you. Just sort of like tossing a glove at someone.
I don't know. Have you seen the recent Suicide Squad film?
I have not, but I've seen bits of clips and
There's a
stuff.
character who can detach his own arms and send them floating away, and he just sends them over and just starts like hitting people on the head and slapping them and being of no use whatsoever.
That's hilarious. I'm just thinking of Bugs Bunny, some of the old cartoons, taking his glove off and slapping someone, and then it turns out there was like a brick in the glove somehow.
Yeah.
Good old trickster god bugs.
Yeah. works on rule of funny. So Bugs Bunny wins or loses depending on what's funniest.
Excellent.
Big fisty. And I'm
Uh,
guessing there's going to be a little worm in that dome.
I mean, I was just going to go with the glowing eye, but I'm quite happy to add a worm. Why not?
Or both. Glowing worms that look like eyes.
More worms.
Tiny.
I can see this being the next Kingdom Hearts boss.
Thank
I
you.
mean-
It needs belts.
There's a wide range of things that end up being Kingdom Hearts bosses, so who knows? Like, one of the Kingdom Hearts bosses in the first game is literally just a leopard.
Yes! Powered by worms!
That's where I'm going to put the eye.
Little porthole.
It's a 2001 style. I can't let you do that, Silver.
I'm afraid my hand lets you can't do that.
This is always English.
I tell you what, it's breaking my brain these days. If it isn't the subject of my next exam, I'm struggling.
That's fair.
Yeah, that happens.
Which reminds me, I have a trophy here that I bought for a winner of a quiz I hosted.
Ooh.
It's addressed to the non-gender specific winner person, and it's a children's karate trophy. Cost me all of £2.64. Oops.
Nice. This also has some cannons now, because why not?
More guns.
Oh god, getting shot at as you're rolling around in the dungeon. I'd probably be screaming even more than usual.
Yes, nothing says roguelike like a 40mm cannon. Dark Souls
Dungeon.
piss. I don't know, words are hard.
No, this is...
Just gonna be quiet for a bit and eat some chocolate.
No, this is Moonlighter, it's not. We're not Dark Soulsing. Although I did one thing I was considering doing at one point was a one-hit run of Dark Souls, by which I mean editing the game so that everything in the game has 1 health, including you.
That would either take a very long time or only a little time, depending.
Exactly. I don't know which.
Head on a swivel at all moments.
I don't know how the lava's going to work, but yeah.
The lava will have 1 health.
No, but you will have 1 health, and you try and stand in the lava.
Ah.
I guess this is it. It's a little simple wormy friend in a mech. Because why wouldn't it be?
I have to
I
keep
mean,
reminding myself
hilariously,
that you're not using a mouse.
there is an enemy in Moonlighter.
No, I
Hilariously, there is an enemy in Moonlighter where it is sort of a thing in a mech suit.
Yeah,
Nice.
It's kind of
nice.
like, oh no. This was unexpected.
Ooh, he looks very mean.
Aha!
That's the tech soldier. Like I said, it's a little small because it's pixel art,
Whoops. Yeah.
but it just sort of floats around and smacks you around.
The big smack.
You did specify 1 hand. I should probably have stuck to that. Yeah, I don't quite know what's going on in the background there. Are those the worms? Little pink and yellow worms?
I mean, I think that's just part that it's electrical aura, but it could be worms. There are a non-negative number of enemies, just slime in a suit. So
Non-negative, but positive?
Yes, actually, positive number of enemies.
Okay. Most games have a non-negative number of enemies that are slimes in suits.
What if the enemy is you?
I want to play a Octodad style game where you're a slime in a suit trying to pretend to be human. And you're just, it's not even that you got tentacles, you are just completely amorphous.
Oh, there's a game similar to that called Manual Samuel, where you do a load of bodily processes manually, so you have to blink every so often and breathe in and out.
Oh no, that sounds horrible. Right, cool. That's one roundabout. I guess Lewis, you can now do a Moonlighter.
All right. Wait. So am I drawing a Bloodborne again, or
No, you're drawing a
shifting?
Moonlighter. We're
A Moonlighter.
everyone's gonna get one from each.
Yeah, switching it at least, and then we could maybe do another round if we feel.
Yeah, we might have time. Probably.
Oh,
Well,
this is fun. You get a fruit turret.
A fruit what?
Fruit turret. So, fruit turret is from the forest dungeon.
Okay.
It's with a flower on a top, except the roots do not keep it in the ground. It, in fact, walks around on the roots, and then it spits bullets at you.
So it's a fruit turret with a flower on top with legs.
Yeah. It's got little root legs. Wanders around
Okay.
and then just shoots at you.
Right. Can someone remind me again how to make a new layer? Oh, there we go. Add layer.
yeah, it'd be nice if there was a plus next to it.
The plus button is not, unfortunately, the add layer. Right. Okay, so where's a good place to start with this? Okay, we're gonna start with the legs, because why not?
It's all good art books tell you. Start with the legs.
Do they?
Yes. Keep it grounded.
Aha, grounded legs, I see. Right. What's a good... Oh, goodness gracious me. Why is this not working? There we go.
Ah. There's the ground.
There goes the ground.
Oh no.
Right. So we get the kind of arch of a foot here.
So is it actually fruit?
I mean, it drops.
Right.
So each of the enemies have different items that they drop that you can sell in your shop or use to make items. So the fruit turrets drop petals, plant flesh, and forest fruit.
I don't like plant flesh.
It's a rather odd way of
Yeah,
putting it.
I'm not fond of the fact that it's called plant flesh either.
Yeah. Oh, I see we go
That's
Monty
what it
Python.
drops.
Got a bit of Monty
So
Python
Yeah,
going on.
in my
leg
head, the
That
legs
is-
are very large and it's a small turret on top.
Yeah, that works too. So one of the things with Moonlighter is that you don't really get a lot of explicit explanation of what's going on in these various dungeons, but you do find little books of things with little hits of lore of what the heck's going on here.
Environmental storytelling.
Apparently, in whatever dimension that the forest dungeon is from, someone was basically experimenting to try and make more and more sturdy crops. And
Right.
somewhere along the line of their experiments, the plants just started standing up and moving around and shooting at people.
As you do.
Unintended consequences.
Okay.
I don't think. On the one hand, that does sound ridiculous, but on the other hand, I don't think anybody currently engaged in studying and developing GM crops is actively safeguarding against plants getting up and shooting guns.
Well, all we need first
So-
is for them to defend us against zombies.
Yes, that is a good point. So you can go both ways.
Yeah, I said that joke, and then I heard my flatmate burst out laughing, and I had really hoped he was watching the stream. I was like, I don't think it was that funny, but I appreciate the laughter. And then obviously, best touch is just a honking great big gun.
Yeah, there is a mild issue with having a large barreled turret at what would be waist height.
Oh, okay, well, that's okay. Then I'll put in a person for scale.
No.
You just have. This is Will trying to figure out am I. So the main character's name is Will, so this is just Will going, oh no, what is this? Now I have to start rolling around in the book again.
Oh no. They've
So obviously we have here I've got the wrong shade of brown. I missed out the obvious coconut visual ploy. If I can remember which one's G is film. There we go.
brown. More brown.
How can we make this more fruity?
What is this? A post-Raphaelite painting?
it's just a coconut with a gun on legs and a little daisy.
A coconut gun? It fires in spurts.
Yeah, I have a feeling whatever the scientists were trying to do, this is not what they intended.
It never starts off with how the scientists intend, is it?
Yeah. Unless there's one scientist that's like, yes. This is exactly what
it for everyone. Didn't you?
God damn it, Colin.
For a slightly darker, I could get a kneecap in. Slightly darker. Get a nice kind of like detailing in the kneecaps and whatnot. And obviously, yeah, as we all know, this is the fruit from. Was it Moonlight? Sorry.
Moonlighter, yes.
Moonlighter. So it's called that because they're a shopkeep who moonlights as an adventurer. At night.
They apparently don't need to sleep.
No, you could just keep going.
Because obviously
But-
retail is just really easy, so you're not tired at the end of it. So you can...
Oh yeah, you definitely don't have to keep running around your shop making sure that items get restocked, chasing
No.
out thieves, and dealing with birds that come into your shop and freak out all your customers. Because apparently no one in this small village has ever seen a bird before.
I thought you were going to say no one in the small village has ever seen a door before. It's a way to keep out birds.
They just don't know what these things are. Obviously, you might be thinking, this is a tough enemy in Moonlight. You might be thinking, I'll just get
Yeah.
behind it. But what the developers actually, they removed this from the game. Really. They didn't. This was the pre-version. It was the missile launcher on the back.
They removed it for balance reasons.
Yeah, they were concerned that players would find it too difficult. But
Yeah.
that as we're all fan of missile launchers.
Do you know what we should do? Actually, should we? Well, let me rephrase that. An idea that just popped into my head that might be terrible is we do one of these wiki things where we randomly generate a thing, but you have to draw it in the style of your wiki.
Oh, okay. You are already testing my artistic.
Well, the thing is, like, you could this sort of turret on legs thing. You could make that Halo, like.
Probably. So
You make it work.
obviously, as we all know and love, this is the infamous. Oh, my page has crashed. I need to reload.
Aggie! Luckily, it's cloud storage, so.
Yeah, you can all.
This is
Crimes are still present.
This is the fruit turret. Well known for its high quality legs, coconut body, big gun, Daisy, and the initial missile launchers that the devs into. You see, I was close.
You were pretty right about the coconut body, at least.
Yeah.
So what happens is it sort of wanders
Ooh.
around on its little root legs, gets into a position, and then one of the leaf parts in the middle there on its main portion sort of comes down, and you've got this little. It basically looks like it's sort of spitting like plant-based missile projectiles at you, just kind of like pews.
Pew pew.
See, I wouldn't call that a fruit turret. That's like a seed turret or like a nut turret. Flower turret,
Coconut
even.
turret, maybe.
Cocoa nut turret. It fires in spurts. Do people know what I'm referencing when I say that?
Unfortunately, not. So.
Okay, it's the Donkey Kong rap. Donkey Kong 64.
It does drop forest fruits and plant flesh, though. So
nice.
Excellent.
I like the sprites in this game. Are nice.
They're lovely.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I
There's some
want to kind of
really
like
good
bobble
sprite
around
work.
at a very slow pace.
Little wobbly plant turrets.
Right. Ragdoll, would you like a Bloodborne?
Sure, I can just draw a scribbly mess.
Hooray! Would you like a character or an enemy? Or an enemy?
Let's go for a character.
Character?
And an enemy.
And an enemy. There's a lot of deep sea stuff. Okay, cool. We're going royalty themed today. You have Annalise, Queen of the Vile Bloods.
Oh God.
If you watched my stream, the last stream I did of this, you last would have seen her floating through the air. She is Queen of the Vile Bloods in Canehurst. She sits on a throne. She's got a helmet on for some reason. Basically vampire queen.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that one. That's yeah. So Lewis, if you could.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Hide your layer, please.
Thank you.
There we go.
Apologies. I don't know if I've announced this to the streaming world. I'm an idiot, so I do need to find these.
You're a handful thereof.
Yes.
Which actually, as idiots go, like a handful of idiots, it's not a huge amount, is it? Just think
if you
about
put them in a room, you don't get the works of Shakespeare, unfortunately.
I was just thinking, most idiots I know are more than a handful. They're quite big.
Now, I'm pretty sure Elise is not the character that you find sitting in the regal chair, but since they're the Queen of the Nightbloods, might as well give them a nifty throne.
She does have a throne. She is sitting in a throne.
Oh, right.
It is she. It is she. You may also, if you so desire, draw her after Alfred meets her. I don't know if you know that story.
Oh, it's been a good minute. See, the thing with the Bloodborne is there's some very interesting luring characters going on there, but since some of it is just kind of like you either have to like it's the same sort of thing that Dark Souls does, where it's just kind of like, okay, sure, and then you go on and do things, and you're like, okay, sure, and then you find out that there's like deep lore in here, and you're like, okay.
You're like, excellent.
One of the things I always found a little
Well,
interesting is that the room that you find her in is just full of statues of horses. I don't know why.
which I will not be drawing.
No.
Share.
There's quite a lot of. Oh, this isn't trivia. This is trivia. That's something different. I'm trying to
If I
think.
wanted the trivia, where do I go then?
This chair is now slightly
Trivago.
sideways, but you know what? It's Bloodborne. It works.
Nothing's.
No, that's hotel. We all know that.
Oh, okay.
You can't pull the wool over my eyes, good sir. Mysterious Bloodborne door.
No, that's Kingdom Hearts. What if on the other side of the Kingdom Hearts door it's just Bloodborne?
Oh god.
I mean, some of the Heartless do look like they could fit in there.
Have we had Star Wars
Or
in
at least
Kingdom
some of
Hearts yet?
the...
I
No,
think the
not as far as
acquisition happened after.
There will always be more Kingdom Hearts games, though.
Yes. Kingdom Hearts is forever.
God, I hope not. They've already lost the thread a bit, so it's like, it's not.
They had a thread. As I will always say that the first Kingdom Hearts game is like makes perfect sense. It's a little fantasy silly thing of like, oh, there's Disney worlds and they're all connected by this weird thing called Kingdom Hearts. As soon as they made a second game, it fell apart. Because they were like, okay, we've got to make this make sense now. It's like, no, you do not have to make this make sense.
Okay. Because I have also know nothing about Kingdom Hearts, so I'm finally having some of an
Don't worry. Yeah. You're better off not understanding. People who play Kingdom Hearts do not understand Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, I watched a thing of somebody who knew nothing about Kingdom Hearts being explained the plot of all of the Kingdom Hearts games over the course of 8 hours. And it made less sense at the end.
Oh, good.
It is just absurd how ridiculously complicated it is. It's like, no, you didn't have to be.
The sort of overarching plot threads sort of make sense. It's all the little details that they throw in that make you sit there and go, now hold on a minute.
They go, what?
Yeah, Kiro agrees. You're better off not knowing.
Also,
it's fine.
Everything is going to be a certain level of ridiculous if you have characters like Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck explaining just like philosophical things.
Yeah.
Like, this was already going to be bizarre.
Donald Duck is canonically the most powerful mage in the universe.
What? Donald Duck is the most... Excuse me?
Donald Duck is the most powerful mage in the universe. Or one of the most powerful.
In the Navy. I didn't know he was a mage as well.
Yeah, he can cast Stopza. It's just
Stopza.
Yeah, and that's in this reality. If you go to some of the other realities, in the virtual world, it all changes, obviously. If you go into Ansem's virtual world, it all changes. Don't worry about it.
Well, obviously in Ansem's, the non-Euclidean geometry is applicable here.
Yeah.
I'll see then your next question has to be which Ansem.
No. We're just going to leave
I
that.
Still think my favorite image that sort of encapsulates how ridiculous the details of the plot get is showing 3 pictures of characters that look nothing alike. And the comment is, these are all the same character. Showing another picture with 3 characters who look exactly alike. And the comment is, none of these are the same character.
Yep. Don't even start with Ansem.
And it's right.
One of my absolute favorite plot points in Kingdom Hearts is to do with, because it's a lot about keys, right? A lot of Keyblades. There's the door. Kingdom Hearts is the door. And so there's a lot of things to do with keys, and there's like there have been thousands of Keyblade wielders over many millennia, and there are the Keyblade Wars and all these. It's very silly. Again, it used to be just Disney places. It's nice. But one of my favorite story beats, and I guess spoilers for I don't even know what game anymore. But one of the characters has the ability somehow through the power of keys to keep track of anything with an X on it. Because the X resembles the Greek letter key, which is actually pronounced Chi, but they needed it to be pronounced key in the game so that it made sense.
But it's pronounced Kai, spelled C-H-I.
Yeah, but they call it key in the game. So that it makes sense. And that's why they know where the protagonist is, because he's got a big X on his shirt.
I feel like he should probably change his shirt at some point.
I know. They do that every game. He gets a different one. More zips.
And it still has an X on it.
I think they got rid of it after that, but
Oh, good.
I just remember that being a plot point somewhere. It's just like,
Yeah, and it's stuff like I said, overarching plot bits, plot beats. Like there's a decent plot in there as far as the overarching thing is concerned. It's the little details they throw in that make you sit here and go, none of this was necessary, and also what the heck.
yeah.
You
Oh, there
did
is
not
also
need any of this.
you then also have the ultimate Keyblade called the Keyblade, but it's not key as in Kai.
It's the key. It's the sword that's a key.
Yeah, the key, not the key, because it looks like a couple of Keyblades put together. It's key is the key. It's Kai. Key. It's supposed to be Kai. Oh, so Nomura doesn't know what the letter Kai is called. Sorry. Also, just down to the basic naming conventions of the Heartless and the Nobodies, is that everybody has like a body and a heart, and if you take the heart out of the body, you get a Nobody, and if you take the heart with no body, it's called a Heartless. Despite the fact that it would be the other way around, wouldn't it?
But if you take the heart out of the Nobody, can you take the Nobody out of the heart?
Yes.
That one,
that happens.
Sort of willing to forgive, because again, this is the problem of like they did not have this planned during the first game, so it's like, well, we've already got the Heartless. What do we call the other one? But yeah, you're right. It's silly.
Yeah, but yeah, no, there have been multiple occasions where you can take a body, where you can create a body from a heart, and you can create a heart from a body that doesn't have a heart, and then you have multiple hearts that came from the same body, and that's just a whole can of worms.
Right.
There are several characters in these.
All come back to worms.
Oh, I hope.
Yeah. And then you've got the person who's got like 4 different hearts shoved into his body.
Yeah, that's an issue.
Like
some of them, and some of those hearts are multiple copies of his own heart.
That grew into their own people.
Yeah, and so now they are different. Yeah, and so you can't take that. He can't take that heart back because they now belong to somebody else, but that person didn't exist until his heart got separated from his.
Kingdom Hearts, yeah.
Kingdom Hearts, yeah. Mickey Mouse, Goofy, Pluto,
and then Kingdom Hearts. You know what it is. It's Kingdom Hearts.
I thoroughly recommend. Actually, I can recommend something right now. I can recommend.
Not having multiple hearts would probably give you a lot less chest pain.
Here we are.
Now, see, the fun thing is,
welcome.
With what sort of are in the Kingdom Hearts universe, you could make a non-convoluted explanation for why these entities sort of became their own being now, especially with how special anime protagonist Sora seems to be from before he was actually born. There could be a non-convoluted way of explaining this, and they just didn't.
They just didn't. Yeah, so there is...
Because it's true, Sora, before Sora was even born, his heart was reaching out to people whose hearts were damaged and helping fix their hearts.
It's weird.
By filling in gaps.
He is
So
pro
who
tag.
Like, that's canon.
So who owns the Kingdom Heart?
No, well, at what point in what game?
Oh, okay.
It's,
So
it's
And also,
like-
which version of Ansem are we talking about?
yeah.
Is it like if you own the Kingdom's Heart, then you control the galaxy or something?
I don't. Has it ever really been
So,
established
what-
precisely what Kingdom Hearts is?
Yeah, and that's part of the problem. What exactly Kingdom Hearts is sort of nebulous, but the most concrete explanation we have is that it's sort of this idea of like. So, do you know anything about Jungian psychology? To get sort of on a weird tangent that I
Yeah,
swear makes sense.
Is this where you expected us to go, Lewis?
I play Halo.
Okay. So in Jung psychology, we've got this idea of sort of a collective unconscious, where you have things where even in different times and cultures, there are certain aspects of humanity that are sort of consistent. So Kingdom Hearts is sort of the idea of a heart of all worlds. So every single world has its heart, like the thing that makes it live and creates life in it. And Kingdom Hearts is sort of this collective heart of all things, which means that Kingdom Hearts is both darkness because there's darkness in people's hearts, and it is also light because there's light and goodness in people's hearts. That's the
Right.
simple explanation. You could have stayed with the simple explanation. The Kingdom Hearts franchise decided to not stick with the simple explanation, so it gets much more convoluted.
Yes, I have linked in the Discord Barry Kramer's A Good Enough Summary of Kingdom Hearts, which is very entertaining, very silly, and just plumbs the depths of the insanity of that game series. Not including the new one, that was made before the third one came out, so... I say third
Yeah.
one. There were about 10 games before that. And even then, I think the third game started with Kingdom Hearts 2.9 or something.
Huh?
Yeah,
Yeah, there's lots of Kingdom Hearts games. They've all got weird names.
Got decimals in there. I feel
Yeah.
like it's cheating.
Some of them are rational numbers.
well, part of the problem is they kept remaking things and putting things into, like, from other games into sort of the same game.
Hang on, let's have a...
And instead of sensibly renaming the remakes, they just added weird.
I'm sensing a theme where there's one of two decisions, one of which is sensible, and they decide to not take the sensible one each time.
Yep.
Yeah, essentially.
This is the
Like-
timeline of Kingdom Hearts games. There's Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, Kingdom Hearts 2, RE Chain of Memories, like you would write on an email.
Resident Evil.
RE Chain of Memories, coded 358 over 2 days.
Okay.
Birth by Sleep, RE coded, Dream Drop Distance 1.5 remix, X, 2.5 remix, Unchained Union X, or Kai, maybe, or Key, 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue. That's the name of a game.
Okay.
2.8 Final Chapter Prologue. Then Kingdom Hearts 3, which actually starts with Kingdom Hearts 2.9.
But it's okay.
Oh dear.
Yeah, like I said, there are sensible ways they could have named this, because some of those games are remakes of other games or remakes of a few games shoved together. Like, one of those games is essentially they took all of the games that were released for handheld systems and put them together in a game for the mainline systems. I don't remember if it was PS3 or PS4, but one of those. So it's a combination of games, but again, there are sensible ways of naming remakes, and there are nonsensible names of naming remakes, and you can see which route they took.
Right. Yes.
The other fun thing that you can do with the Kingdom Hearts series is when you turn evil in Kingdom Hearts, you change your name. And you change your name by adding an X in it and then scrambling the letters up.
Well,
So-
I did hear that X was going to give it to you.
X is going to give it to you, and it is evil. So yeah.
See, and the fun thing is, there's an even dumber explanation for that, because the whole making X things is again connected back to the character who could track down things with X's on them.
Yeah. If you got an X in your name,
And
he knows where you are.
Then he's gonna
he
give it
was
to you.
renaming people because his intent was to take over their. I'm not joking.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That does happen.
So in
What?
fact, X is gonna take it from you.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, he's gonna give
Like,
it to you,
if
but
you
it
ever
is
talk-
his own self.
Okay.
If you ever talk to a Kingdom Hearts fan and they talk about someone getting Norted, that
Norted,
means that
that's
a
it,
character
yeah.
who may or may not be named Xehanort is taking over their body.
Right.
Yeah, Norted, which is obviously noughts and crosses. That's the connection there. It's X's and noughts.
Right.
Like I said, there could have been a sensible route. They didn't take it.
So you can't say they're being X'd because then he knows. Because he knows about the X's and whatnot.
I mean, if you wanted an X-rated version of Kingdom Hearts, there's some websites you can look for that, but I wouldn't recommend linking them on Twitch.
I'm good, thanks. Be a polite person.
I'm trying to work out people's noughted names. I think Lewis would be Wixels.
Excuse me? What'd you call me?
Wixels?
We don't use that kind of language here. Thank you very much.
Kiro could be like Roxky, which is pretty cool. Ragdoll could be Galoxdor.
Okay. Can't help but feel like I've come out this the worst with Wixels.
I can't think. It's like, I don't know, Solix.
Interesting.
Sexwill.
Okay, there are worse names than Wixels.
We're sticking with Wixels, right?
Yeah, Wixels. It's always good family name.
From a long lineage of Wixels.
Yes, my father. Please call me Lewis. My father was Mr. Wixels.
God, that does sound like some old family name that gets passed on for generations that nobody wants, but everyone keeps getting.
It's difficult with crispy. There's only one vowel. You can use a Y, I guess, like Sykesir. It just doesn't really work.
It's like the Welsh.
I mean,
Why's a vowel in Welsh?
Yeah, it should be a vowel.
Some of the names that they use already don't work, and some of the names I suspect they named they came up with the Norded name first by just scrambling letters, and then when they realized what they did, and it's like, okay, great. Now we have to figure out what the guy was actually called.
Yeah, let's make a character
what do we do with the remaining letters.
Let's make a fun name with an X in it. Oh no, we've got to work out what the original name was. We didn't think about this.
I mean, one of the characters is literally named Lee.
Yep.
So they would become?
They were originally Licks.
Axel.
Axel.
Oh, right.
Axel, rescrambled Lea Lee. I'm trying to work out where are all of the Nort names. I want to see them. But it was clearly, we'll call the character Axel. That's a name that's got an X in it. And then they're like, what is it without the X? Lee with an A. Sure.
Oh dear. Next time I'm definitely going to bring League of Legends champions to the wiki draw.
Axel's a fun name, so I guess it's Lee. It was that or Ale.
Yeah, don't call your children Ale. That's setting them up for a poor standards already.
That's my son, Ale, and my daughter, IPA.
It's my daughter, Rose. Sorry, do you mean Rose? No, Rose.
No, Rose.
We named them after what was on the menu, their conception.
I like how you
sirloin steak and tuna pasta.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a brother Stroganoff.
I think Stroganoff was the last villain in Call of Duty. We've got to stop Stroganoff from detonating.
That's Metal Gear Solid 3, isn't it? Gotta take down the Stroganoff.
We should just band together to make the most generic FPS. You just pick a Russian word from there, just pick like a Russian dish, and that's the villain. And you never say what's going on, you just say they have to stop them from detonating or escaping or releasing the product or something.
Yeah, okay. I have a list of all of the X names. Let's see if you can guess. Lewis, see if you can guess the original name that apparently this came from.
Okay, so it's to naught a name, you shuffle the letters and put an X in the vowels.
Yeah, so you need to unnaught.
Right, I'm unnaughting it.
Yeah, Zigbar.
Okay, well that doesn't have an X in it. That has a Z.
It begins with an X. Zigbar. Zigbar.
Rigby.
No. Not far. Well,
Zigbar.
Zigbar. I'll give you a clue. It's not a name.
Oh, it's not a name. I thought I was unnaughting the names.
You are.
Yes, but you have to remember, most of them were pretty sure they came up with the Norted names first, and then had to figure out what to do with the letters.
Oh hell!
Some of these are literally do not have a known original name because they're like, I don't know.
Zigbar Barney.
No, it's obviously Brague.
Right. Yes.
Now, if it was something so like Sora, Riku, and Kairi, their names come from Japanese.
Yeah.
But
I don't think Brague comes from any.
These aren't names.
Okay, so
yeah, they're all made up names.
One.
Yeah. Marluxia.
That doesn't have an X in it.
Marluxia. Marluxia.
Okay. Right, they're not right. Okay, I'm getting annoyed here. They're just being silly.
How about Zexion? How about Zexion? Guess where the X is?
Everywhere. Sorry, what? Marluxia?
Marluxia, yeah.
Marluxia. I'll go with an easy one and go Lucian.
Nope. Loriam.
Oh, yes, obviously. L'Oreal, you're worth it.
Loriam.
Oh, Loriam.
Loriam worth it. Oh, that's my favourite one. I forgot about Xion.
Xion. Starting with an X.
Xion.
What, you mean Zion?
I think it's pronounced Xion in the games.
Oh, I've seen The Matrix. I know how it's. Oni. O-N-I.
That would make sense. This one's very dumb.
Steve.
Well, it's dumb for multiple reasons, but again, it's because of that problem of making things based off of
Nori. The name's going to be Nori.
This was even based off of heart. I think this one was based off of data of a character's heart.
Yeah, it's not this person. The person that got naughted isn't even a person. They're not real.
They're called Norbert.
No. You only have the letters NOI to go by.
Oh, so you can't get Norbert. Eno. I know.
Funnily enough, you do actually have the information required to work this out.
What was it?
They're an imaginary person.
So
They
it's
are an
Noi.
imaginary person.
Yeah, not real.
Their name is Noi. What was it? Their name was like backwards with a.
That was just
I mean, technically
anagram
you're
usually.
right. There's just a gap in there.
Yeah.
They're number I.
Okay, I'm not playing. This is-
They're imaginary. They're the number I. I forgot about that. Oh dear. Anyway, that's Kingdom Hearts. When are we doing that for a wiki?
We're
Oh,
never
God.
doing that. We're never discussing it. We're never talking it. We're never spelling it.
I can't even remember how we got onto this. This is Annalise. Look at Annalise. It's just as grumpy as I imagine.
And look, it doesn't have an X in it. It's crazy.
No, Annalise. Okay, I better get a picture. Try and move on from this absurdity.
Into a different kind of absurdity.
Always. Yeah.
Oh, right. I forgot the mask.
She has a
Oh,
mask.
well.
That's fine.
Grumpy Crown works too.
She's got cool portraits. Can paste that in. So let me
That
get
is
them
pretty.
on screen. Yeah, there. Well, hang on. Do-do-do-do-do-do. There we go. This is the in-game. She has a helmet on for some reason and a very simple black dress. Not sure why. Everything else in this area is completely ornamented to the hilt. And here she is as in a nice
If she
painting.
stands out more? I don't know.
Which was cool. It does appear to be a very similar dress actually in the painting, but with all of the ornamentation worn off or torn off.
I mean, to a certain extent, having a character that's in very plain clothes in a very ornamented area does make them stand out more, but yeah, I don't quite know why that design choice was made. Although the fact that it's a black dress, because black dye it was very expensive because of how complicated it was to make. And most of the time you'd get something that was more of a like bluish or greenish color than a true black. So
Wow.
very very
People should tell the people of Yarnum that. Everyone's dressed in black in Yarnum. Cool. Right, now I believe I need a halo.
Right. Random number generator.
Let's see if I know this one.
more worms.
More worms. If it's the flood, I'm going to be very annoyed.
Ooh, let's have a look. So, number 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9. The Huragok.
What?
Exactly.
Yours too.
These are floating artificial life forms with no true tissue or organs, held aloft by gas bladders, and they articulate through tentacles. It is said that their heads resemble anteaters to some degree.
Floating gassy anteaters. Got it. Okay. It is said. That's the line that's interesting me the most here.
There's literally an argument in one of the books where someone goes, "They look like anteaters," and one of them goes, "No, they don't." They go, "Yeah, they do." This is specifically why I mentioned that choice of words there.
Trying to remember
So
sort
they
of.
float and such. Blub blub. Blub blub.
I can't remember the sort of Halo designs. I don't really know an awful lot about the Halo aesthetic. Again, it's been a long time since I've
Well, so if it's an alien thing, then it's typically a bit purplish and quite rounded. If it's something that the humans made, then it's really ugly, typically made up of lots of boxes and a nice olive color, like a kind of drab olive.
A drab olive. Which, to be honest, is probably what this thing's going to end up looking like. Because it is a floating gas bladder. But it's an artificial life
They're
form?
also named. They've got names, and they're named based upon how well they float.
Okay.
Where are some names? Let me scroll down the wiki page here.
That is some hilarious world building.
So
we're
some
gonna,
examples
we're
of
gonna
some
give you a
names
name based off
include
of how much.
lighter than sub, far too heavy, and easy to adjust.
Those what?
That's some of their names, for example. They're just what they might be called.
Now, is that what they call themselves, or is that what the humans call?
So that's the name they're given when they're built for the first time, because they're not actually naturally occurring. They get built.
Huh. Artificial alien helium balloons.
But also tentacles. Would it be like? Is that rude? I'm gonna say that's not rude.
More balloons.
More balloons. Always more balloons. Whenever there's the choice between balloons and less balloons, more balloons.
We seem to have a thing about balloons on these drawing streams. We've drawn balloon characters before.
And it's an elephant nose.
Yeah, it's supposed to be an anteater, but it sort of changed.
I mean, it's certainly big, so elephant sort of works. It's a big armored helmet.
Yeah,
Need a lot of helium to keep that.
I don't really know what I'm doing. So...
Would you like some more hints and or descriptors?
I think it's probably too late for that, but I'll go with it anyway. It's too late for it to help, but it'll be interesting.
They are bioluminescent, and in dark conditions, their heads and tentacles will glow to show whether they are happy or not.
Okay, right.
Well,
I realize that's
you
not
have
helpful at
confirmation that
all.
they have tentacles.
They typically have tentacled arms that can split into very small cilia to manipulate mechanisms.
Interesting. You know, this description is getting sillier and sillier.
And are well known for having a tied-off balloon knot at the bottom.
Hey, I got that bit right. Definitely, that's definitely in there, right? Yeah.
That bit from the game, but
Well, it's there. You just said it. So I'm correct. Hooray! Don't look it up, anyone. Yeah, I don't know how Halo works. So they said they could just sort of fractally kind of split off into.
please stream work. Not stream, Agia. The stream is the bit that is working.
Aha! That makes a change. This is vaguely disgusting. Who'd have thought a tentacled aardvark would be disgusting? Sorry, anteater, not aardvark.
Well, I mean, you put enough details and everything looks sort of gross. You can see that with Jinji Ito, I think is how you pronounce his name.
Yes.
Where
This is my
it's
hole.
really funny because for the most part, he writes and draws these horror mangas. But then he's also got a slice of life manga about living with his wife and 2 cats.
Yeah.
And it's the same art style.
No.
Okay, I don't think it's technically like I think the character is like not technically him, but the character in the manga and the character's wife and the 2 cats are based off of his experiences living with his wife and 2 cats. So not strictly autobiographical, but very much based on his experience.
Sorry, I've just seen some more notable names for some of these. Drifts randomly, sometimes sinks.
That's my name.
Requires adjustment.
These are all my names. What? Have you found my old school reports? They're confidential. I to be fair, when I was younger, hated being in a swimming pool, didn't like putting my head underwater, but I was really good at floating.
I would hope so.
For some reason, I was just naturally very buoyant. So maybe I am a floater. Maybe I am a whatever this thing is. It looks horrible, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They get nicknamed the Engineers.
I've heard of that. No, hang on. No, sorry, I'm thinking of Alien.
Yeah, what are they then?
See, I had a swimming experience that was sort of the opposite. So if you do scuba diving, one thing that happens with scuba diving is depending on body composition, you sometimes have to have weights attached to your body so that you sink instead of just floating at the top.
But you're supposed to float.
I mean, not when you scuba dive.
That's what.
Yes.
That's what they told you anyway.
But yeah, so I was at a scuba diving like demo thing with a bunch of other high schoolers, and they were attaching us to the things. And it wasn't a pool, so it wasn't even that large of a pool. We weren't like diving. It was just sort of a thing of like, oh, here's the stuff you would do if you were diving. And basically they were going through the thing of like, all right, so put on your gear and see if you can sink to the bottom, and we'll go around and attach weights as needed. And some of the other kids were floating at the top trying to get down, and I immediately sank to the bottom and just sort of hung out there watching from the bottom of the pool.
This is my life now.
I don't know.
Wait for a bell.
Maybe this is like. Maybe this is stuck. Maybe this creature is going to be called stuck on the ceiling because they can't stop floating.
As a slightly unfun fact, some of them do have bombs attached to them to prevent them being stolen.
Happens in a episode of Red Dwarf.
I'm just sort of wondering how you'd steal one, but now I'm just sort of thinking like with the drift loom, like the whole thing where it's like, oh, they can wander off with your kid, but they're balloons, so they usually just get grabbed by a kid, and then the kid drags them off instead. So just like attach a string or something to the bottom of this balloon guy, and then just walk off with him.
Well, they can move around, but in the law, they're not particular. They don't like. If you just whoever gives them something to fix, they just sort of become friends with.
No.
That's adorable.
Which becomes a bit sad when you realise that other people strap bombs to them to stop other people stealing them.
Don't steal my friend. I'm kind of attached to these things now. They're kind of cute. I mean, not what I've drawn. That's not. But
they like to. They actually go on about what they like. They like to eat like yeast slurry with sugar in. They just kind of like slurp it up with a tongue.
Ooh.
They just go. Nip, nip.
Nip, nip, nip.
This is where all of my ridiculous Halo lore knowledge kind of like seeps out slowly. They just like fixing things, you know?
I like fixing stuff. Good for them. Going to get the purple in there. It's alien. It's purple.
Oh.
Good old shading.
I shall drop the engineer into the chat to compare now. Hasha!
What is actually called? The Yog Sogoth or whatever? Ooh. Ooh.
Urogok.
Okay, I'm less attached to them now.
Yes.
Oddly enough, I think yours is cuter.
That
Yes.
Yeah, that's saying something.
Actually, say it looks like they kind of float around and warble their arms around, going, whoa.
I feel like if I see them in motion, I might get attached to them again, but just as is, not what I expected.
No.
Like, I'm looking at it and I'm not sure how they go around fixing things. Like, what are its hand appendages?
Apparently, it's got like
Oh,
cilia.
yeah, so
it works Van der Waals force.
tentacles like will split if they handle stuff.
Okay, I guess I can see that.
Here is a
It's-
video of one of them lighting a cigar.
You just said that it's like, oh, they go around fixing things, and then you show us this picture of a squid, and it's like, okay.
I don't know why. I just always find that clip very funny of just one of them lighting a cigar for someone. That's an engineer.
It's got a little light. Oh, they blink. Oh no, they're cute now. Oh. Why is something in Halo cute? That's not right. Oh, Kiro has the Junji Ito book. that does look a bit like Jorah's wife, pretty similar to the Happy Mask salesman from Zelda.
Yeah, like I said, it's a slice of life manga based off of his experiences with his wife and cats, but it's drawn in the exact same art style he uses for everything else. So
On the back page is quite spooky.
vaguely horrifying.
Yeah. I like that. A lot of slice of life comics are very cutesy and very sort of cartoony in style. It's nice to see a sort of different take on it. Whereas I was the other way around. I was making October and Co. sort of cutesy horror comics that are one horror, but based on horror things. Right. Well, we've got a little bit of time left. Should we do a simultaneous draw? Everybody draws at the same time.
Final piece of engineer knowledge: they talk with sign language.
Oh,
Neat.
good for
We're all
them.
going on the same layer.
No, you can have your
Well,
own
we're all
layers,
going to be on
but
the same.
you must pick a zone.
Zone.
Oh yeah, pick a zone. Feels a bit iffy. So,
Bottom middle.
yeah. I'll take top right. Cresp. Right. We'll go back the way we were when we first did it. So, Lewis, you can have a Bloodborne. Ragdoll will have a Halo, and I will have a Moonlighter.
13 on my list.
Right.
Yes, did Ragdoll instead of Ragdoll.
Ragdoll. Right. Yeah, Lewis, do you want an enemy or a character?
I will take an enemy, please.
Enemy. Can do.
Let me load up my 2 greys.
Oh, that bugger. Right, okay.
That bastard.
That absolute bastard. You have a Thumerian descendant who is a boss in the Chalice dungeons who is a right pain in the backside. I would describe them as. Well, it has a description. The Thumerian descendant is one of the few surviving members of the Thumerian nobility, an ancient civilization that constructed the labyrinths. The descendant is a tall, emaciated humanoid that wears tattered robes. Despite its frail appearance, it is incredibly agile, and capable of powerful, rapid attacks with the shotl it wields. So it has a
Am I
big.
allowed to Google what a shotl is?
Absolutely, it's a weird sword thing.
I spell shotl.
Shot L, like hotel, but with an S.
It's an E.
Shotel.
Ah, yo entiendo.
Yeah, and
Right.
it's
Emaciated
annoyingly
human
fast.
tattered road, shotl, and a chalice.
Well, it's in the Chalice dungeons. You can give it a chalice if you like. Why not? Like I say, it's got a bit of a vibe of like old Dracula about it.
Ah.
It is quite red, actually. It's got red robe sort of thing going on. It's actually color in this game somewhere. Obviously, it's red. So yeah, that's your Bloodborne.
Okay.
What's
Shall I give the Halo one?
yeah?
The Yanmei, also referred to as the Buggers, sentient, carnivorous, flight-capable insectoids.
Ooh.
Do you want more details? Hard
Sure.
exoskeleton made from a glossy chitinous substance, as well as 2 pairs of wings.
All right, I can work with that.
And big gun.
Little gun, actually.
Yeah.
But
Little
Plug
gun?
with big gun.
Little gun.
No, little guns then. All right.
They don't-
I can
They
stick them underneath
genuinely
their
don't
6 mil.
trust them enough to give them big guns, is the reason.
Unfortunately, they collected many little guns and turned them into big gun.
Mm.
Like worms turned into big creature.
Okay.
And my Moonlighter?
So you have the magician puppet.
The magician.
So magician puppet is from the desert dungeon. That's the lava zone. Basically, they look like these cloth magicians of sort. They've got pointy heads, pointy hats. They zoom around the map, dropping lava bombs.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, let's get doodling.
Yeah. I get to try and draw a little bug,
Little bugger.
or maybe I can draw lots of little bugs with guns. So 2 little dots.
And this is the part of the stream where nobody talks because we're too busy trying to draw stuff.
I'm arguing over whether to draw a skeleton and add emaciated but afters, or try and just draw someone who's very thin.
Both work. The face is very skeletal. You can barely see if there's eyes in there at all.
Oh, okay.
Very, very sullen.
Let's see. Big bug. I think this is just going to sort of end up looking like a cartoon fly.
But with a small gun.
Or many small guns.
Or many worms.
Many worm guns.
Worm-powered guns.
Many worms make light work.
Many worms make like worm. Many worm make light worm.
The enemy designs in Halo are just really interesting to me, especially since like a lot of first-person shooter games, you've got like it's just generic mixed soldier mans, and they just kind of went, no, we're going to design entire alien races and entire alien cultures. We're going to go out of our way to make this look as interesting as possible and create as much work for ourselves.
It does feel like it came from like an existing sci-fi franchise, doesn't it? It feels too large scope.
I believe, yeah. Like there are derivations in part, but a lot of it is original.
And then they decided to just put so much lore in there and write mini books.
Well, so it turns they weren't the ones who did the lore. Actually, it's just other people did the lore, and they were like, "Yeah, sure, you can do that." They weren't that big a fan of the extended books, and then they were just like, "Yeah, okay, you can."
It's just really funny to me.
Yeah, the hunters, the wormy boys, apparently are very good poets.
Aww. That's cute.
They would smush someone under that very large shield and then stop to think of a poem.
I was going to say, like, my experiences with hunters have very little to do with poetry and very more to do with just frustration. It's like,
yeah, most of my encounters with them on high difficulties usually end in the word "fuck."
They run fast and they're scary.
They go "Mrrr."
Which is funny because it's essentially just like the worst three-legged race ever, if you think about it. Because you've got many things trying to get them running, and like just trying to get two people
Oh, I
to
see.
locomote together.
Sorry, I thought
run.
I thought you meant the worst three-legged species. When you said race.
You're like, the Reliant Robin isn't that bad.
No. Race isn't running.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like tying your right leg to someone else's left leg and then trying to hobble around when neither of you know how to locomote with another person.
And they come in pairs because the worms come in different colonies, and when there's too many worms for one, they just get squished into two of them.
Nice. Good for them, I guess.
At least they've got a friend.
So basically, they're like bees. That's what bees do.
That's how bees
the colony
do.
Too big for their area, they'll just slap a new queen.
That's a bees
out
do.
And just find a new area to live.
Yeah, basically it is akin to bees. Sorry, I am listening. Just that's a more just came into my head.
If there's too many lives to sustain just one hive, that's a bees do. Sorry, Ragdoll's just here saying things that are actually genuinely interesting, and here we are doing stupid references to a moray.
Creative.
I mean, to be fair, lots of interesting things in science and biology just sound like someone is shitposting. So.
Oh yeah, biology textbooks are the best.
It's God. God's doing it. God has a sense of humor as well, it turns out.
God's a shit poster. Explains so much.
and or a non-specific creational deity. Insert here. Cosmic engineer of some description.
Yes, the engineers from Alien, I remember.
That, or most of creation is just the result of some very bad art days, where the anatomy just does not want to work.
Can't relate, as obviously as we can all tell, my art is perfect.
Always. How do you draw pipe cleaners? Asking for a friend.
Draw a wiggly worm and then give it eyes.
I mean, pipe cleaner is pretty much just a piece of wire with fuzzy bits around it for cleaning pipes.
Yes.
I thought they were just for putting
And
Google
then
eyes on.
someone decided to use them for art. And now they're...
See, I think, actually, I encountered them first as a pipe cleaner before I encountered them as an art supply, because I used to play the trumpet. And trumpet has a lot of pipes. And also a lot of spit as well, so they need cleaning quite frequently.
Fiddle.
Got a spit valve, got to clean.
And that's essentially the sort of thing they were designed for.
Sorry, what was that?
That is the sort of thing they are designed for. Because you're not really gonna get your hand in there with a rag, clean it out.
Yeah.
Not easily.
Every now and then I'm like... Sorry?
I've made my emaciated man too buff. Let me erase some of that.
Yeah, I would not look at this and say buff. So...
Well, I mean, the fun thing is, the more dehydrated you are, the more pronounced your muscles are, because the layer of fat and whatnot on the top side is non-existent.
Oh dear.
So you want a lot of muscle definition? Do not do that. It's a bad idea.
This
Isn't that
one
what,
simple
Hugh
trick.
Jackman did to become Wolverine. He's like, I just didn't eat or drink anything. I'd almost died.
The huge...
Yeah, it's
What
a
a-
really big problem with a lot of Hollywood actors, where it's like, oh, we want you to look buff, starve yourself for a while, so we've got that
Yes.
sweet, sweet muscle definition.
He wants you to look a birth. Oh god, he's got... Why are his calves so big? Stop being buff.
See, I just drew a little potato. Don't have to worry about them being buff, because they're just a potato.
I don't know, you never seen a buff potato? You're missing out.
I tell you, the buff potatoes get sent for mashing.
Nah, use them for jacket spuds. They got very tough skins.
Give me the munchies over something fierce over here, sir.
Potatoes. Might make some home fries later this week.
Potatoes.
Got some potatoes that probably need to be cooked.
Oh yeah, we had homemade chips today. Very nice.
Taters?
Potatoes. Boil them, mash them, etc.
Yeah,
And
just-
other associated processes?
Just
There's
stick
an
some oil in a pan and
I've heard in
slice
the
your potatoes real thin and stick them in there with some salt.
I've heard in the extended versions of those films, Sam just goes on about different ways of cooking potatoes for about 2 hours. Boil them, mash them, saute, blanch.
I mean, in the original novels, there's some parts where characters will just, there'll be an entire page where it's just kind of like, and now we've got this long description of weird poetry about a forest by a forest, so,
Yeah.
you know,
But
fits
what
right in.
trees think potatoes?
Bring back the Tom Bombadil. He's vitally important.
Or he's
I
at the
think
very least very interesting to see.
I think I've drawn a rather emaciated communist sword man.
Oh, so yeah, sickle, I get it. Right.
Oh, I tried to draw the sword. I was like, it's just turned into a sickle. Whatever.
Sorry, I was thinking, was it the red? Was it
The red? What?
was it the red communist's color? Isn't it?
Are they supposed to be red? If so, I've made grievous errors.
I just said this, they have a
I
red
mean-
red robe thing. That's all.
Oh, I forgot that the tattered robes. Oh, goodness gracious me.
That's all right.
I mean, it's tattered. You can make the robe any shape you want.
yeah.
So
Nightmare. Absolute nightmare.
maybe he took it off. It's in the wash. It's laundry day.
That's appropriate for what I'm drawing.
And what you are drawing is very cute.
How dare you?
Disgusting. Awful.
I've taken to responding to compliments with "How dare you," and at some point that's going to backfire.
Well, I mean, depending on the situation, it can also be funny.
Well, I'm basically done. Don't worry if you're not. I can add more shading.
I mean, I've just been filling the screen with dots to represent tiny bug soldiers, so.
Tiny bugs.
Yeah, I decided to go the silly route of we have a
Small.
zoom in of really tiny. That are just very far away. Unclear.
I think I'm done. Kind of looks like he's just bleeding everywhere, but
I mean, it's Bloodborne. That is also a distinct bug.
There's a lot of blood in the game.
trying to get like some threads going. But
I wonder, does Bloodborne have like an age warning for blood? You know, like Die
don't
Hard would have a warning for violence.
I mean, I know as far as video game ratings, blood is on the list of things that it's like, okay, if this is present, it goes in this category. Because each of the category things have like a whole list of like things of like, okay, if this is present in the game to a significant extent, it should go in here.
oh my god!
And I know violence is a specific thing as opposed to violence. So
my favorite is my favorite is mild peril. There's something about the phrase mild peril that just really amuses me.
That's the equivalent of what's the Vine with the 4 battery packs? It's like you have the AA, the AAA, and the quadruple A batteries, and someone's just mild peril. I like to think is just the AA batteries where they just go
yeah. But yeah, I like the idea of it would be first on my list of like names for a band I start. Mild peril. It just sounds
damsels in mild peril.
Yeah. Right, cool. Let us reveal what we have drawn. Ooh. Ooh. I like this. The robes give him a look of like Hawaiian shirt this is having a very bad holiday.
Oh yeah.
That's cool.
I mean, he's in the Bloodborne universe. Everyone's having a bad holiday.
How many guns? 6 guns. 6
Yeah.
guns per fly. My word. It's a lot of guns.
They're little tiny computers. And they've got a little bandolier in case they run out of bullets.
Yeah.
I'm sure some of those guns are. I'm imagining some of those guns aren't even like real guns, so the ones on their feet are just there so they have something to hold on to when they're flying around.
It's like, well, my other hands get grabby otherwise, so I just hold on to them.
Right, well, this is the, what were they called? Buzzkills?
Themasian Descendant, was it?
No, your fly ones.
Oh,
Oh, sorry, the buggers, yeah.
Oh, the buggers, yes. Not buzzkill. The buggers, they're
and
little
they've got the
ladybug.
little.
Ladybird with hooves.
And they've got. I see it's holding one of those little.
Oh yeah, little laser
Pew-pew
pistol.
guns.
Yeah.
Yeah, the little laser pistol that always sort of reminds me of like a really weird taser.
Yeah, with the little like arc going between the two front bits.
It's a sort of taser crossed with a checkout scanner.
Gauss cannon.
And then we have the. Oh, hello. Good little mage. Have a friend.
Yeah, so that's the magician puppet. Stationary, so it's a little hard to see sort of what it does. But yeah, it just sort of zooms around on the map and drops lava.
It is a fantastic wand you've given it there.
It's only the best. Look, they were made by a child. It's fine.
Puppet mage. I'm gonna make that if I have kids. And this is puppet mage.
Yeah, and this is the Thumerian Descendant. Also known as a bugger.
Damn it. His legs are still too buff.
Yeah, it's very, very thin. Again, I would not describe this as buff.
It looks like he's holding another dumbbell. Damn it!
It's again too buff.
This is what happens when
So
you
yours
don't
has
go to
been working out.
Get bored and start doing reps.
They got the sunken eyes. That's good though. Got the very hollow cheeks.
And the hair that has obviously not been brushed in quite a while.
Yeah. I should have told you it was like slick back. Sort of Rocky Horror Show style. Yeah. Cool. We made many friends. Are these friends?
Excellent.
These probably aren't friends. They probably never met. Usually I try and do a thing at the end of this. It's like, oh, these are friends. No, these have no idea each other exist.
Except the engineer. They're friends with everyone.
Oh, yeah. The ones we've drawn previously. Absolutely. But these 3 here, no relation at all. Yeah, now obligatory turn all the layers on for chaos.
Make a giant mess.
Ah! See, Lewis had has the full-on strategy for this. If I do everything in block colors, you will see mine.
The pair of you are artists, so you use opacity and shading. I just use whatever color is given.
That was great. You have the dominant technique.
It also doesn't help that with how this is made, the layers on the top go over the layers on the bottom.
True, yeah.
So that means Lewis's 3 layers, which are on the top of the list, are going to be on top of all of ours, which are close to the bottom of the list.
And I think I'm just quite slow, so I always turn them on last, because I'm just like, oh wait, I have to do a thing now. I always feel like I'm caught by surprise, just going, ah.
I do like this little person in the corner just going, oh no.
Oh no.
Just looking at all of this and going, oh no.
I too am looking at things I draw and going, oh dear.
Also, the 2 color swatches Lewis drew for, God, I think that was the Slug Princess, line up perfectly with the. So it's just shooting things out of its little fruit turret mouth.
Either that, or they're like the eyebrows of your fly friend.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, those. I was trying to look at different types of grey. So now it looks like your fly is a Dragon Ball character.
Just the angriest eyebrows.
Yep.
Little person is a mood.
Hairline.
Oh no.
Oh no!
There is
That's
much
my
here.
default stick character. They're just putting their hands on their head, and going, ah.
Ah, no. Your default stick character is existential crisis.
That's how I feel whenever I have to draw.
Well, I apologize.
It's
Yeah, this was a good time. We drew some halos, we drew some moonlets, and we drew some bloodburns. 'Twas a good. Speaking of bloodburn. Shoo. That's not a vegetable. Sorry if you're not watching the stream, that probably made no sense. But yes, I'll be back on Tuesday streaming Bloodborne because we've got to sort this broccoli thing out somehow. Maybe we will come across emaciated Hawaiian shirtman. Maybe we will find the Slug Princess with a regal crown.
And scepter of power.
Yeah. Which you can just see poking above the turret there. Yeah. We probably won't see Queen Annalise as she's still flying through the air. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. Had a good time.
Thanks for having us.
It's always good. Yeah. I never know how to end these when there are other people here. So I'm like, do I talk to chat? Do I talk to Kira? Do I talk to Lewis and Ragdoll? I don't know what's going on. And then my brain just stops. Even though I invited you here. This is on me. Next thing my brain says was, ask them if they have any last words.
What is it in Monty Python? They're just like, and now for something completely different, and then it cuts off.
Yeah. I'm tempted to do that, but we have done that joke before, so not now for something completely different. But just suddenly ending the stream. Yeah, I'll be back on Tuesday for this. Wednesday is the Bioshock Infinite draw through. Saturday, not this, Bloodborne. Why did I say this? Etc. etc. You know the drill. Maybe no stream on Saturday though. Yeah, have a grand old time, everyone. Have a lovely week. Yeah. Goodbye.
Remember
Bye.
to eat nice things.
Eat nice things. Eat all the chocolate. Well, not all of it. Save some for tomorrow. But then eat it. Bye.